This week on Media Delta, our first look at Season 1 of Mega Man. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Media Delta. We're talking about a somewhat biggin this week. Well, actually, we're taking our first look at what is kind of a biggin because this is probably one of the more famous cartoons that has been based on a video game property. We are talking about the 1994 Mega Man cartoon, the super fighting robot one. That, depending upon what region you're in, has a different intro. I'm looking at you, Germany, which I still feel that I like go figure that I like the US one, the one that I grew up with when I was a child. So, yeah. We are taking a look specifically at season 1. This did get 2 seasons. The second season is actually, looking at it, they are both about 13 episodes each. So this didn't run that terribly long, but we are just specifically looking at the first season in this this first part of a 2-part series of us taking a look at this show. I was not the only one who watched this, so please introduce yourselves in alphabetical order.
Hey, I'm Axe, and I'm Roll's Super Suck Machine.
Bass, why must we fight? We are not enemies. It's me, Donut.
In commentary. It's Coolio here.
I'm Torpid Typist, and I'm here for robot sexism.
Yeah.
Yeah. So specifically, we are talking about, since this is the first half of a 13 episode season, we are taking a look at episodes 1 through 7. If you want to, keep track at home. So, we're just we don't have really any specific questions, which we haven't really had any specific questions lately.
I like to keep pointing that out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's part of, doing the motions, but
the only question is why you even bother.
Yeah. Anyway, let's just go around and discuss what we thought about these 7 episodes that we watched. So X, what are your thoughts? And if there's anything in particular, do you want to bring up?
So honestly, I actually liked it. I'm not a big fan of the Mega Man series. I've mentioned this a few times on Retro Rank Rhapsody, except for the Battle Network series. I like those a lot. But I enjoyed the cartoon. I thought it was well animated. I thought it was well voice acted. And for the most part, I mean, each episode was sort of its own contained thing. There wasn't really an overarching plot to be had. But it still held up pretty well compared to, say, stuff like The Legend of Zelda or any of the Sonic the Hedgehogs, especially Legend of Zelda. I thought it was nice to actually watch a game cartoon where the protagonist isn't like an idiot and is actually competent, and you kind of want to root for them. Again, looking at you
than any of those too.
Yeah, it stays a lot closer to the source material than the other ones. Looking at you, Legend of Zelda. I guess if I were to bring up anything, it would be what Torpid brought up. I'm kind of glad because I was hoping I wasn't the only one who noticed. Yeah,
not at all.
This show is kind of sexist.
Oh my god, it's sexist as shit.
Dr. Light's a sexist asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was Mega Man to a period or to an extent.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's I want to say because I remember reading a story about how this series came about. This actually was originally meant to be there's been a few things that have come to light since I probably last read the story. So this actually, don't take me on this 100%, but I believe the general gist of this was that there was supposed to be a show for Japan that was there's actually a pilot thing you can find on YouTube. That's it's very close. Like if you remember Mega Man Upon a Star and how that was actually using that was incredibly close to source material, using models that will the box arts would use.
Actually, I'm glad you mentioned that. Lulu, because bits of that promo and shit are still used in the introduction and the whole I don't know the word for it right now. The theme song bit.
Yeah. Yeah, because the theme song, like the little title thing, is notably better animated than the actual show. Which, not to say that this is a Ruby Spears production, it actually holds up like much better than, say, Hanna-Barbera stuff. But the
It was also
original,
their second to last production.
yeah, and the original idea was that I think it came out like 2 years before this. There was actually a thing where one of the animators was talking about on Twitter that it was originally meant for Japan. Like there was a series that was meant to be like closer to the games, and then that just didn't pan out. So it ended up becoming something that was mostly for American audiences. And they actually, like, as brought up, they're pretty much on model, like, I would say 90% of the time. Mega Man looks a lot,
He
quote
looks
unquote, older.
deranged.
Yeah, he looks not like, I mean, when you say deranged Mega Man, we have the entirety of the US box arts to talk about.
Okay, but those are incredible. That looks ridiculous. This Mega Man just looks like he's about to fucking kill a man.
He looks like a whole man. They took the man part of Mega too seriously.
Yeah, he looks like a teenager, not like a child. But Rush looks like Rush, and Roll has probably taken the most drastic change. They essentially did to her what they did to Zelda in the Legend of Zelda cartoon, which is make her more of a like older teen and kind of a helper. Well, I mean, she's still a helper robot, but they changed her like personality to be a little bit more actually competent in a way.
She's
like
competent. It's just all the sexism gets in the way.
It's funny because like she fights really hard to be on the battlefield. Like she wanted to be a battle robot very clearly, and while Mega Man and Light keep telling her no, she still ends up going on the battlefield and proving herself to be a capable fighter.
Yeah, not just a capable fighter, but she can invent things that apparently Dr. Light doesn't think to use at all. Like, even though they would have been very useful, like the seismic detector, the earthquake detector that she made. And then fucking at one point Dr. Light's like, we need a proper sensor for this. It's just like, there she is, there's Roll in her really ugly tracksuit.
Right. My headcanon is just like Roll really is just super upset at Dr. Light all the time, and at the end of every episode she just calls up Dr. Wily like, listen, this is the shit Dr. Light's gonna do tomorrow. So like if you just roll through at like 3 p.m., I'm just gonna unlock the door for you. Come in, fuck shit up. I don't care. That's what I would do. Fuck some Dr. Light.
To be fair, at the end of like a good chunk of the episode, she ends up mind controlling something, and it's very weird every time.
Yeah, it is weird, but I'm not going to condone it, but I can see how she would use it to get out of her frustration of living with that man.
She even mentions in I think the first episode, how all men are the same. Like just outright says it. So like
all robot men do is lie.
The hot chip.
The writers kind of are like addressing the fact that we're being sexist, but we're still gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, well, the weird thing is okay. So it's also weird too because you need to remember that Dr. Light made her, and she is constantly getting pissed at him and going against his wishes, and also is more technically competent than fucking Mega Man.
Yeah.
So I want to say I can't remember what exactly the thing is, but it's something that I recall thinking about Sonic Saturn. I believe in certain, I don't know who would be the governing body behind this, but I believe that there is if I remember correctly, again, this is a thing, don't take me 100% on. I believe that for media aimed at children, there was a really weird set of best practices and guidelines that had some really not great things in it. The case that I always think of that I just remember because this is a recorded thing, the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon. which I can't remember when that actually came out. Was that a 90s thing or is that a 80s thing?
I feel like it was late 80s.
But yeah, there was a directive that said when you are writing an episode, write it so that the person who complained about the group's general idea is always wrong. So basically, if you are going against your general group, you're wrong. Which is a interesting lesson to tell. Also incredibly bad.
So once again, very weird because she is shown to be very technically competent. She makes her own gear, but she fights solidly, even though she kind of gets her shit wrecked sometimes.
The thing is that there is I want to say there was a directive like that because the thing with Sally in SatAM.
Oh yes, it's the girl character who's got to be super competent.
The girl's character has to be super competent and show that she can do things. So I believe that might have been a directive because of that. But I'm not 100% certain, but I remember hearing something about that. So that might explain why that's there. Still doesn't make it any better, but that's at least an explanation.
But it's also, when you think about it plot-wise, like, it makes no sense. Like, Dr. Light only makes Mega Man into a fighting robot, but he's also got this other robot who's extremely smart. Sorry. Extremely smart and perfectly capable. She could also make a perfectly good fighting robot. She's more the tactician, though, but, like, reconfigure her for the purpose. No, she's a female. She's just there for cleaning. It's like, come the fuck on.
Yeah, we are going to promote the idea that women can be competent, but not too competent.
It's a product of the 90s. What do you want?
The 90s. This is why I watched Sailor Moon.
Yeah, those cousins are real good.
Listen, they were not out yet. This was the early 90s in America. We hadn't even Sailor Moon S was a dream. All right. We didn't even know.
These cousins who may or may not like to kiss on their downtime.
All we knew is that Zoisite may or may not be a lady somewhere, and may or may not be a man in certain countries. That was strange.
All I'm gonna say to that, Lolo, is Alabama exists.
I forgot what that's a reference.
That's a little fucked up.
Oh, right. God.
I love how long it took you to put two and two together.
Yeah, for some reason, because the thing was, I was like, is there a show that referenced Alabama? No, just Alabama sucks. Anyway.
Oh, we alienated all of our listeners in Alabama.
I'm sorry.
God, I'm gonna go ahead and apologize for my section of people who also get that horse shit in West Virginia and Kentucky.
Yes, jeez. There are some very loud people in Alabama that suck. I will say that. Yeah. There are plenty of fine people that live in Alabama. There are also some plenty not nice people.
Fucking always in the South.
Yeah.
I hate the whole place, North and South. How about that?
But yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, I did enjoy the cartoon. And to be honest, it's a little fast paced at times. Like, I think it goes a little bit too quick for its own good, but it's still watchable. It's still enjoyable. I'm gonna take a drink of water.
All right, donut.
All right. Well, after that comment, I'm just going to go into plot for a moment. So let's see. So let's start with what actually happened in these episodes. So basically, it's giving us the setup. First, it goes with the origins of just who's Rock, who's Roll, what Dr. Light is doing. But most importantly, we really get to see why Dr. Wily hates Dr. Light, which they really don't go into until like Mega Man 11 in the games. But it's pretty much the same setup here.
Wily was fucking justified in 11.
He was very justified in 11. And he was a little justified here.
Vindicated.
He's justified, he's vindicated, but his actions are just reprehensible. He just goes about it in a terrible, terrible way.
But basically absolute shit.
But basically what happens is, so Dr. Wily's like, hey, our robots are going crazy because like there's something fucked up in the CPU. So like, let me take a look at that. And Dr. Light's like, no, I'm just going to blame it on you. And how about we just let the robots let's just let them think for themselves. Let's let them lie, think, fuck those rules. And Dr. Wily's
sentience for funsies.
And Dr. Wily's like, that's kind of shitty. We could just like get these other construction robots like good to go, just overclock them. And he's like, no. So anyways, Dr. Wily leaves, he goes crazy. And then Dr. Light, also in his craziness, decides to make Mega Man and take out all rules. So Mega Man could lie, he could kill people if he wanted. They don't really touch on that a lot, but yeah, Mega Man could do some real fucked up shit.
Yeah, actually, really quick. So first off, you forgot that Dr. Wily stole a child.
Well, I was getting there.
How does that work?
I was getting there. Yeah, it's really strange because Proto Man is like a legit child when we first see him. It's weird. He's like a little buff baby. But yeah, so Dr. Wily steals him and I guess remakes him to be older. And then that's pretty much where we start.
And yeah, once again,
so the thing is, I guess maybe it just works on Ghost in the Shell rules.
Maybe. But I guess to go into my feelings about it, there are a few certain points in various episodes. I'm ambivalent about the show. I've got a lot of nostalgia with the show. Like I was watching this shit when I was like 2, 3, 4 years old, waiting on like my brother to come home from like elementary school. So I've got a lot of good memories with the show, but the pacing is strange, the characters are strange, and a lot of the dialogue just doesn't age well. I'd probably not, I don't know, I kind of wanted to put it in the same like area with Zelda where I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is sexist as shit sometimes. And then not only that, with Roll, who I always loved Roll as a character. When I was a kid and I watched the show, I remember being like, Roll's super competent. Why aren't we following her more? Why isn't she getting a cool Buster arm? And then I went and played like Marvel vs. Capcom, and Roll is a whole fighting game character, so blew my mind. Hard switched to Sailor Moon after that. I couldn't deal with all this 90s horse shit. But what really struck me is the weird things that nobody thought to catch. Like the episode where they're working with a doctor who wants to make a real boy. And his name is Dr. Pedo. And just, there's a lot of comments about him making Mega Man into his real boy and all this shit. And it's just cringe. You're just cringing the whole episode.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like Geppetto, but damn, they just say pedo instead.
Just straight up pedo. And then the second that goes from your mind and you're like, okay, let's get to the next episode where they're Cro-Magnon robots for some reason. I won't think about the logistics of that too hard. But then we get to Dr. Fister. Or Mr. Fister.
Mr. Fister, yes.
Whatever his fucking name was. And you're just like, is this purposeful? And then after that, and then finally to cap it off, when you're like, okay, well maybe this next episode will be normal. Starts off normal, Cutsman and Gutsman are fucking up an airport, Crystal Man's there, and then all of a sudden it goes to Dr. Light, Mega Man, Roll, and Tina. Who is Tina?
Who you knew the entire time.
That you knew the entire time.
Whole time.
It's like Axe was saying that the episodes really are self-contained, but sometimes there's just like jarring bits where they just throw in characters like Tina and they're just important. And in your mind, you're like, is this supposed to be like an homage, like that weird family in Mega Man, the Kablinkas or whatever?
Like, it would be one thing if they like actually properly introduced her, but no, it was just like, hey, Tina, you know Tina, right?
Right, and she's like, yeah, I'm here because my dad's going to space. Hey, Dad. My dad's acting weird.
She seems like the kind of character that gets shoehorned in because she's based on someone who won some sort of contest.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It feels like some lucky little girl named Tina was like, I really love Mega Man. Please put me in this show. And by gum, there you are, Tina. You got your wish.
Her name is Chris Houlihan.
But as a whole, I don't mind this show. I think the animation's pretty solid. It's a lot better than I remember Lolo saying at least it's not Hanna-Barbera, and it's definitely a step up above that.
It's Ruby Sphere, so it's technically not Hanna-Barbera. You're right.
Mm-hmm. This is correct. They're giving us more quality,
but not the same.
But I think my favorite thing is I really like, even though Mega Man looks like a literal man, I love how all the robot masters, for the most part, look exactly how they looked in the game. They might change the design a little bit, like with Fan Man, because how are you going to make that work? Or Airman. But they're really faithful, and it's really fun to just see all these dumb robots palling around. And also, Duo Maxwell is Proto Man. That's a beautiful thing.
Yep.
That's about all I've got for
such
it.
an asshole.
He's such a dick.
Scott McNeil is great because if you look up a picture of Scott McNeil, he looks exactly how he sounds. But yes, also Canadian Goku voicing Mega Man. There's actually,
is that where I heard that voice? I didn't look up his. I didn't look up the name.
So, I guess with there's been a couple dubs of not Mega Man, Dragon Ball Z. Ocean Group is the group that did the dubbing for this.
Makes sense.
And they were one of the ones that did an early dub of Dragon Ball Z. So Goku is Mega Man, and that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, there's like 4 dubs of Tree of Might, I believe. All
also,
I put a picture of Scott McNeil in the.
That is the guy who does voice Proto Man. It looks exactly like they expect, or a Eurobeat singer.
I mean, that is a look. I think it's just a white cowboy hat and.
So,
holy crap.
Australian Canadian, just to point that out.
Let me just try and describe what Scott McNeil looks like. He is a white man with a soul patch, a white cowboy hat that is folded up on the side, very long hair.
He looks extremely honky tonk.
Yeah, he's got a nose ring.
Yeah, the nose ring and the 2 hooped earrings, and wearing a cowboy adjacent vest that is open, and he has a necklace.
Sleeveless too.
He has a necklace of some sort that may or may not be a choker.
It's a look. It's a beautiful look, and it fits him perfectly.
The problem is, the more I'm looking at it, the more I am seeing my old economics teacher, which is causing me problems.
I hate his facial hair. It's so gross.
He looks like every weird dude that's hit on me at a gay bar. And I'm just like, no, I don't want your mint julep. Please leave me alone. I'm going upstairs. So I just sit next to my friend, and I'm like, you're my boyfriend now.
I need to stop looking.
It's a very powerful picture.
What the hell are we even talking about?
I don't remember.
We're just overcome by the power of Scott McNeil's
Jesus.
Just everything.
God.
Thank you for posting something else, Jorpa.
Thank you.
I'm just happy that shitty KFC food is gone. That's all I care about.
That is exactly what I was thinking.
Like, I literally only posted the picture I posted just to push that stupid hot dog off the screen.
Delicious.
God, okay. I forgot about the ghosting with these gifts.
Okay, we are now reaching 1 million watts in territory, so we need to move on.
Let's continue.
Garbage to push
Let's continue.
Yeah.
Coolio, what did you think of it?
Boys. This show's all right, but it also makes me very angry. And it makes me angry in the same way that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Season 3 makes me angry. Well, it may be more so Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This one is not as terrible as that.
Please enlighten us, because that is a very specific emotion you are listing.
Yeah.
It's just the idea of, like, these stories are so disconnected and don't really make a whole lot of sense, and they're full of holes, except that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles also goes way off model all the time and puts in substitute voice actors like every other episode. And the substitutes are often terrible. But anyway, we'll talk about that when we get to that. Anyway, yes, this show. I do appreciate the fact that it does kind of try to stick to the actual source material a little more than some other shows. Like, the episode 1 is decently close to the actual source material as far as origin story. I am very disappointed that we never see Wily do his eyebrow thing, though.
Yeah.
True.
But I do appreciate the person who ripped this actually leaving the commercial bumpers in.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about Mega Man's man hands.
Oh yeah.
No.
God, that art they used for those bumpers look terrible.
Yeah, it took me a while to actually because I kept seeing the bumpers and something was off about them, and it would linger in the back of my mind. You ever have something like that where you look at something and something's off, but you just can't pin it down? And it wasn't until the 7th episode where I was watching it and the bumper happened, and then immediately it went right back to Mega Man, and I was like, wait a minute, his hands are blue. Wait a minute, this isn't right. It shouldn't look like this.
Oh my god, yeah, I cut that shit immediately. The first commercial was just like, what are those? What are his hands? I was like, what do you mean? And it came back and everybody saw.
It's deeply fucking cursed. Mega Man hand.
There's just some weird things about it that kind of hit me the wrong way, and I'm not really sure why. Such as, for instance, why does Mega Man keep using Robot Master powers against themselves? That's not how it works in the game, except for Metal Man.
That's not how it worked against Pharaoh Man.
Exactly, Pharaoh Man said, fuck you.
Just
I'm not fixing that shit. I got your power. We got this.
Yes.
And also, what the hell is this virus in episode 5?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't understand what's happening there.
The retrovirus.
The retro.
It's like it's the Robo-Enza of Mega Man 10, but really dumb.
It's like if Robo-Enza
become like caveman stereotypes, like a prominent brow, heavy fucking eyebrows, everything, speaking that all garbage, including Rush. It happens to Rush as well.
It's so strange.
Rush gets a weird prominent eyebrow and like the younger.
Why does it make him grow hair? There's so many questions.
And a beard.
And a beard.
That's true. He gets really shaggy.
Yeah.
The world's face terrifies me in that fucking episode.
See, this is what I'm talking about. This show makes me angry sometimes. And also, in at least a couple of episodes, Eddie gives Mega Man 2 energy cans, and he uses them both at the same time.
Right? He just shuts them both.
Look, he just likes the taste of that. He just likes the taste of that monster.
It's like, that E-Tank didn't fill me up all the way. Let me cap myself off.
See, this is the kind of weird shit that I notice because of how my brain is wired.
I mean,
makes sense though.
It's the thing that all pretty much, unless you're wizardry, that all video game media have, where you kind of have to take liberties with how the game mechanics work. Except this even has oh, I'm running low on energy, and he has a little energy meter in his buster.
It's so strange that he runs out of power for his buster. Like, what?
Yeah, M-Buster doesn't use energy; he uses life.
Ever, right?
Yeah, just I don't know. There's just some weird. There's just some weird crap in this that makes it so that this show makes me angry, but not angry enough to turn it off.
But also, that does point out one really weird thing that I have. That's actually kind of a positive. Going back to the idea that this actually is pretty faithful to the original series. One, they call him Eddie, which he wasn't. If I remember correctly, he wasn't called Eddie over here until 7.
Yeah.
I think he was just called Flip Top over here. Although
you're right.
For some reason, he's green in the show, but never mind that.
These noises and they're terrifying.
Also, it also kind of brings up something that I'm actually really I can understand why they do it, but kind of weirded out. There is a lot of representation of 4 and 5 in this. Because
there is.
I think a majority of Mega Man 5 was covered in these first 7 episodes.
I think Mega Man 5 had either had just come out or was.
Well, this came out in '94, so
yeah,
X,
Because-
Mega Man.
I think 7 was out at that point.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe it's something to do with when it was produced. I don't know. But if you think back to Mega Man Upon a Star, and that one was very centered around Mega Man 5.
That one was very 5 centric, because that one I do think was around. Well, no, I think that was around when 6 was coming up, but 5 had been the most recent list. Also, I take it back. I'm looking at you at the Mega Man, the Robot Masters. The only one you do see, you see Wave Man, you see Crystal Man. I can't remember if you see Gyro Man or not.
I don't remember Man there.
But I know you see of 4, I'm pretty sure you see Pharaoh Man, you see Dive Man, you see Bright Man.
Toad Man.
Yeah. But right. Probably about Toad Man. Toad Man, Toad Man, Drill Man, Bright Man, Dive Man, Ring Man, and Pharaoh Man all show up. The only ones that did not show up yet are Skull Man and Dust Man, which I know for a fact that Dust Man does show up at one point, and I'm pretty sure Skull Man does too. I just don't remember when. But yeah, 5 Crystal Man and Wave Man show up. But yes.
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 I guess the last thing that I will point out is kind of a callback to when we did Mega Man Upon a Star, who has the same voice actors for Dr. Wily and Dr. Light. The voice actor for Dr. Light looks exactly like Dr. Light.
Yeah.
He had an accident too, right?
Yeah, he had an accident that caused
And
that.
he's also a Juno-winning like folk singer or something.
Yep. I was gonna say, yeah, he's also Canadian, but then again, everyone in that dubbing.
Yeah, wow, fucking
shot. Wow, you're telling me the Canadian dubbing company, there's a lot of Canadians in it? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Mine's
fucking wild. Wild.
So why Blue Ocean? I'm done.
Jeez. Oh goodness. There was one thing I wanted to say about the show. I'm trying to remember what the hell it was. Oh yeah, just real quick. Dr. Light's really fucked up in terms of what he's doing with robots, and I feel like it needs to be addressed by anybody in the show. Somebody needs to sit him down and be like, this isn't okay. You're going to create a future where robots take us all over, kill all the humans, and we're just gone. Just fucking gone. Just living on the moon or some shit.
You know what? Probably for the best. People are blight.
See, that's kind of the thing. Like, I realized I said I was done, but I'm gonna bring this up as well as just the fact that these supervillains don't seem to have really an exit strategy. It's like, okay, I've taken over the world, now what? And also, pretty much any of these kind of shows are pretty much centered around the eternal stalemate. So the bad guy tries to do a thing and then is stopped. And maybe sometimes the good guys try to end the bad guys and then they're stopped. It's pretty much the same. Like, it was the same thing in Sonic, Saddam, and it's the same thing here. So
it's almost I want to get. It's like I'll go on.
I think this comes back to the whole BS&P thing, where by the end of the episode, everything has to return to the status quo. So
yeah, it's like it's hard to really be mad at Mega Man for that kind of thing, because I mean that's still what they're doing with their games, with all their franchises. So we don't know how Mega Man gets to X. We just know that it happens at some point. We don't know how X gets to Legends. We just know it happens at some point. But until then, they're caught in their eternal stalemate with Wily, Sigma, or the internet. Take your choice.
Okay, now I'm actually done.
All right, Turbo.
Oh yeah, I'm here too. Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
I honestly I guess you could say I enjoyed it. Like, I didn't think it was terrible. It was all right. It was decent, like fucking Saturday morning cartoon material kind of deal. It didn't blow my socks off or anything. It was fucking, but it was all right. It was okay. It didn't look like complete dog shit too, which is nice, because it was Ruby Spheres and not Hanna-Barbera. So there's actually some degree of Like, they're not constantly going off model, which is nice. I have very low standards at this point.
I mean, you've been in every single episode of this.
It's ruining my life.
Yeah.
No, it's one of those things. Like, it's neat, but also it's kind of been touched on. But I guess one complaint I would have is that the main characters are just kind of awful people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Mega Man, as I said, looks deranged, but also he is incredibly bloodthirsty.
He just wants death everywhere.
He fucking loves murdering other robots, and he can lie. Like, that was so, like, Donut mentioned it briefly, but yeah, in the first episode, like, Wily is like, yes, robots can't lie, so fucking Mega Man starts lying his ass off. Like, Wily is genuinely shocked. Like, what the hell? Robots shouldn't be able to lie.
Dr. Light, what did you do? Why?
Why would you do this? Why would you teach it to lie and eat hot chip?
God damn it.
And it's like things like this just really hammer home how fucked up Dr. Light is.
He really is. He's really terrible.
Dr. Light's the true bad guy.
Honestly,
I mean,
he really
Dr.
is,
Wily
though.
is very obviously a bad guy, but
I mean,
Dr. Light's not helping.
They're
It's like, I'm
both-
just
low-key a shithead.
It's like I keep thinking about like the overarching Mega Man universe, and I just keep thinking about Legends and how we got there.
Everyone's just kind of part machine. It's fine.
It's fine. So,
Yep.
That fucking Robo DNA, the RNA. But yeah, no, it's okay. It's just like the main characters are awful. Like, Roll isn't bad when she isn't being incredibly fucking annoying like they want her to be, because she is. Like, as much as we try to say nice things about her, she can be pretty annoying. But in part because everyone just shits on her constantly. Like, Dr. Light looks at his wonderful daughter and is like, fuck off, Mega Man's my favorite.
Every time she even mentions maybe helping Mega Man, he's just like, now roll. And then Mega Man's like, you're a girl. You can't help me.
He equipped her with a vacuum arm. Like, what the
Fucking
fuck?
vacuum
And a blender.
arm. What the hell?
And a blender.
And a blender.
Like,
Like,
her ugly-ass tracksuit.
every time she tries to help, everybody just has to put her in her place. It's annoying.
It's so frustrating.
Just like, yeah. And then fucking Mega Man just loves to kill. Like, it's fucking weird, actually, how happy he is about murder.
Yeah, the dismembering in this show. I don't think we talked about it, but the
It's
amount of
very
times
detailed.
very detailed, and it's like the second that scissor comes off and cuts man's head, Mega Man's just like, come on, I'm ready to chop off some arms,
Well,
legs, stomachs.
in the intro, he blows up 2 robots. Like, blows them up. Doesn't, like, knock all their body parts off like in the show. They explode and die in the intro.
You say that, but like the body parts thing, I would argue is worse because it everyone who gets fucking beat up, it very visibly falls to pieces, and it's like more detailed than you expected this kind of show.
Yeah, and then their pieces move around like ghost fucking limbs. Just it's awful. I hate it. They're just bouncing around everywhere. It's not right.
But
It's even. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
It's even worse when you have those 3 actual, human androids in that one episode, and they end up completely dismembering that French maid one.
Oh yeah, they fucked her up.
Yeah.
I mean, she turned out to be the bad guy. Spoilers, but
Reminds me of how
still,
Gutsman
it's a bit-
punched. Reminds me of how Gutsman punched that android man in the stomach and then just like shoved him into a locker that came out of nowhere. Like, where was that locker from?
Yeah, he fucking shoved a robot man in a locker, and nobody
Like,
fucking.
like, why is this locker here in the middle of this airport loading dock? Don't ask questions. Get in there.
But yeah, also like
Go
Dr.
ahead.
Light is a weirdo too, because he's just really adamant about giving robots sentience for the sake of sentience, and it's weird. Like, I won't get into the logistics of like making a humanoid robot that is sentient for the sake of doing that, because that is like a whole debate I don't feel like getting into.
I don't feel like
But,
going
like-
into Nier Automata right now.
Okay, those are sexy, horny robots. That is very different.
Sad, sexy, horny robots.
Exactly.
Can't leave out the sad.
I forgot the depression. But my point is, he just seems adamant about giving everything sentience for no discernible reason. Like, your construction tools shouldn't be sentient. They shouldn't be able to talk to you or think. They should be fucking tools.
It's upsetting.
See, this comes back to Dr. Light being a terrible person. He created sentience, and now he's on a power trip, and he's going to create sentience as much as possible because he is God.
I mean, if we think about the logistics in Mega Man X, he did technically put recordings and an AI of himself so that it could live on in the future to continuously give his robot more deadly weapons.
Damn, fucked up. But that's not this. Well, sort of.
Almost. What's next?
We're not there yet. We're not there yet. That will happen, but we're not there yet. But yeah, just in general, it's just really weird the way they're portrayed. Like, they're supposed to be the good guys, but they do nothing but be shitty. It's just like Wily is markedly worse. Like they're strictly the heroes through proximity, I guess is the way I would describe it.
Maybe that explosion from when Proto Man started blowing shit up when he was a child? Question mark. Maybe I don't know, debris hit Wily in his head, and he went from being like, Dr. Light's a little fucked up, to being like, I have to foil all of his plans every day.
It's so weird. It's just so weird, all of it. But yeah, no, I hate them all. I hate. Nobody in this is particularly likable. Roll is the closest, but even then,
no one was without sin.
Pretty rough.
How is Rush even sexist sometimes? He might not have said it, but I could feel it.
Because he's always siding with Mega Man.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, Mega, you're right. Roll's done. Rough. And you're like, I fucking hate you too.
This the Robo Scooby-Doo.
Pretty much, yeah.
And he's inconsistent too. Sometimes he can talk, and other times he can't talk.
Yeah.
Sometimes he has bat wings.
And also, apparently, he can carry 3 people on his back.
3 people.
Yeah.
3 whole people.
Yeah, he can't use his Rush armor upgrade. Damn.
Well, I guess that's the thing that's actually kind of funny. I'm pretty sure this series never acknowledges that 6 exists. But it does acknowledge that X exists, though.
That's so strange.
I do.
I mean, it's probably because 6 is not that good.
Yeah,
also,
it is
on
strange.
The regular, Mega Man has shit torn out of him and nothing comes of it. That time they're talking about the life chip they removed from his head and then put in the mind control chip, and then it doesn't matter, I guess.
Yeah. It's like, what's that chip for? Maybe it's like when Robotnik was trying to get life model data from Sonic in the movie, but it's never explained what it is.
Sure.
It just is.
The other thing to point out, too, is how Dr. Light managed to develop Mega Man in such a way where there's always, a convenient way for Mega Man to overcome an issue. When he gets zapped by the massive laser on the moon, which should have just completely obliterated him, but instead just kind of knocked him out. And all of I think it was Tina had to do was just hop her ass over, open up his back, and press the giant glowing button on his back and reboot him.
Also, we want to talk the bullshit with Acid Rain.
Oh wow!
Actually,
yeah,
one second, quick though. Going back to what Axe said. You also forget the part of that episode where they took a research telescope in space and turned it into a laser.
Right, yeah.
Laser.
The good guys did that, mind you.
Why?
Because sun lasers are cool.
This is basically the plot to an Austin Powers movie. What is going on?
Yeah. It's crazy is that Capcom uses that idea a lot in their games. Resident Evil 5 has a whole sun laser section. Whole section.
Yep.
And a little strange that episode 1 is the plot of Mega Man 11.
Yeah. Sounds like how Nintendo used the idea for one of the Legend of Zelda cartoons and put it into a mainline Zelda game.
Oh, which one? Because I only saw one
that was
Phantom
Hourglass, I think. Or no, it's Spear Tracks.
Oh, there's a train episode?
It's the one where Zelda gets turned into a ghost, essentially, because there's the episode The Missing Link, which is essentially Link becomes a ghost that only Zelda can see. And I forgot which DS one it is, but
it's Spirit Tracks.
Yeah,
that's where Zelda is an armor ghost.
Yeah,
no, it's Phantom Hourglass.
I think it's oh no, it's both because she's just a ghost in 2. She's there in 2. What is she doing in Spirit Tracks? Because this is gonna bug me.
I can't remember. I barely remember. Anyway,
I fucking hate Spirit Tracks. I want to look that up right now.
What's going on? Sorry.
I'm trying to remember.
I'm pretty sure it was Phantom Hourglass because at one point you can have Zelda take over an armor.
Yeah, I haven't played Phantom Hourglass in a while.
Spirit Tracks took place on the trains, and you didn't have the armors on the trains. So I'm pretty sure it was Phantom Hourglass.
I mean, it could be both, honestly. I'm just trying to remember what Zelda did in Spirit Tracks.
Okay, so first off, it was Spirit Tracks.
Okay.
Second off, she is the princess in that game, and that's how you first meet her.
Yeah, because those take place after Wind Waker, right?
Yeah, Phantom Hourglass was Tetra.
Yeah, that's what was bugging me. That's right, because Zelda's just Tetra and PH.
All right.
Yeah. So Armor's out of Spirit Tracks.
So someone at some point mentioned the whole acid thing.
Oh yeah.
Acid rain.
Now the thing that I figure about that is that there's that one episode, was it episode 2, where Mega Man effectively gets completely submerged in acid for possibly a couple of minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So I figure, this is just me putting strings and things that absolutely don't need to have strings put into them. But that strings into episode 5, where the acid rain starts, and Mega Man is already damaged, so that damage hasn't been fixed, is what I figure.
I think you're overthinking it.
Oh, I'm definitely overthinking this.
I was more thinking the fact that for some reason Mega Man's like, I'll just get rid of the acid rain that Toadman brought up, and then I'll just shoot this plasma bolt into the water. And I guess that works.
This show
also
makes me angry sometimes.
Also, the antidote thing does not make any sense.
Yeah, why did it only work for a little bit, and then there's just
that was a treatment. That wasn't the antidote.
Oh.
The thing is, how does he convert Toadman's weapon into a thing that has antidote?
As you usually say, Lolo, don't worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, seeing as we're talking about acid, back to episode 2, I love how Dr. Light just helps Mega Man up immediately after he's released from the bathroom. His hand would melt off.
He's just holding him like, oh, Mega Man, your acid dripping armor. I'm so sad for you, my boy. Like, Dr. Light, you should be dead right now.
It's fine. It's a very mild acid. He's just covered in vinegar, actually.
He just hugs him as the acid seeps into his body.
Piss and vinegar.
I'm surprised the fucking acid splash didn't just catch him on the way out.
Yeah.
Cartoon physics.
Yeah, cartoon physics. All right. Tarbo, did you have anything else to add?
Fuck if I remember.
All right. Well, I'll just say that I remember watching this as a kid a lot. And watching it again now, I do actually kind of feel like this is the best of those cartoons. I'm not going to say it holds up in the idea that it's actually quote unquote good. I will say that it holds up in the fact that it's actually like enjoyable to watch. There are plenty of issues with it, like from a technical standpoint. But if it's something you just want to have on, it's actually not that bad. It is surprisingly fun to watch. Namely because the weird stuff that happens it's like, oh, there's a bunch of things that don't make sense, then it's kind of fun to like watch that and like kind of riff on it. But at the end of the day, it's actually not that bad, minus like, sexism and all that. But other than that, it's still perfectly enjoyable. Like, it actually holds up better than I was kind of expecting. And yeah, I do feel like of the video game based cartoons, it is definitely the one that I felt has held up the most. Especially of, say, I don't know, other Capcom properties. Yeah, the Mega Man one definitely got the better treatment.
There was a Darkstalkers cartoon.
There was a
Sure
Darkstalkers.
was.
It's pretty bad. There's
It's
also a
super
Street Fighter
bad.
cartoon. It's also pretty bad. Why'd
Oh
you
my
tell me about
God.
it, Torpo?
A Darkstalkers cartoon just sounds like something that would just be incredibly horny all the time.
It
Okay.
is.
They toned it down, but it's still pretty dumb.
Yeah,
Also,
it's
Do not fucking call me out for having watched every single episode of that Street Fighter cartoon.
okay.
I
So
don't
have I,
need
Torpid. Don't
this
feel bad.
Negativity in my life.
It's okay. Remember, everything is lies, Torpid. Everything is lies. That was Cammy.
I still remember fondly how that show got markedly less budget in the second season.
Remember Sakura and how she looked and how they called her Sakura?
Unfortunately, I do.
It's
You remember how
sad.
we fucking at one point dealt with Scotland Yard and that?
Oh my
And
god.
The only other lady there was wearing the exact same thing Tammy was.
But in gray. I was like, what are you doing? Why? Why are we even here? The whole episode was so pointless. It was about Cammy and Guile, and they don't solve anything in the plot. They get stuck in a train.
My
I
point
hate
is,
the
the
Street
show is
Fighter
actually
show.
pretty alright comparatively.
It's okay.
I feel like this conversation and about 1/3 of this episode really speaks to how much of an impression the Mega Man show leaves.
Oh my god. Maybe next time we can just watch Mega Man Battle Network and have a
Legit-
good time.
Legit, Coolio, I checked out for like the last 3 episodes.
I started
Yep.
doing work. I was like, you know what? Let me pull up an Excel sheet. Let me get some work done.
Well, we got the remaining 6 episodes to watch. We'll see if it gets
Oh,
any
no.
better after that.
There's episodes I'm waiting for. Waiting for
Yeah.
that future episode. Can't spoil it. Who could
Yeah.
it be?
Now
Okay,
get to scream at a cartoon some more.
So, yeah. We are not ranking it quite yet because we still got more to watch. So, since we're not ranking this, that's kind of, unless anyone had any other things they wanted to bring up.
No.
Not today. We'll reconvene in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
Fuck Dr. Light.
All right. Well, we are going to call it for then. So, Axe, is there anything you want to plug?
Just the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network.
Okay, doke. Donut.
Yeah, me and a company. First, if you want to follow me on the Bird app at donut_secret. Also, if you would like to, if you have any need for mustache and or beard wax, make sure to check out Can You Handlebar at CanYouHandlebar.com for all your beard and mustache wax needs. They're beautiful. I use them myself.
All right, coolio.
So first there's the Let's Play group that I am a part of, Low Bias Gaming at lowbiasgaming.net. And more importantly, my own radio show / podcast, Square Wave Symphony, your home for video games, chiptunes, and all things weird and geeky, which can be found at lowbiasgaming.net /SquareSim and also at SquareSim on Twitter, or the Bird app as some people would call it.
All right. Torpo.
I mean, there's twitch.tv/torpotypist and at torpotypist on Twitter. And I would like to plug the gaping hole in my chest left by the Mega Buster.
Don't know about that, buddy.
Might want to
Don't know
have
if I
that.
got the technology.
It hurts real bad.
I'll give you an energy drink. Maybe 2.
No, it's fine. I'm a slime. I'm like the Yellow Devil. It'll work out.
Okay, cool. Let me just pause Glitchy real quick then.
I mean, I guess closer to the Green Devil, but still.
A devil nonetheless.
I mean,
You know.
your profile picture is a blue slime, so probably more like a blue devil.
Well, you know what they say, Torpid, devils never cry.
But devil make it.
Devils never cry. Beat the game, Lolo.
All right. So yes, that'll do it for this episode. Let me check to make sure that I'm pretty sure I know what we're doing next, but let me check. Yes. So we're taking a complete departure from Mega Man and action things in general. We're taking a look at a classic, actually, of a franchise that is well loved and worldwide known. We are taking a look at the movie, the 1967, I believe, movie, A Boy Named Charlie Brown. So we have a Peanuts film in our up next. Actually, this is one also 1969, apparently.
That's when we went to the moon.
Yep. This is actually one that I watched a lot as a kitten. It's one that I have a lot of fondness for. So we'll see.
Did you say that you watched as a kitten?
Kid.
Please.
Not looking forward to this.
Well, you tend to sign up for all these, so you're going to sit in for this one too.
It's true. I enjoy pain, apparently.
All right. Well, that's going to be next week. So thank you all for listening to this episode. We are going to talk about Mega Man Support, and once after we get done talking with Charlie Brown. So hopefully you tune in for both those things. So with that, thank you all for listening.
Bye.
Night.
It's me, your boy, big into CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy.
That's it. That's what it stands for.
Bye.
Thanks.
If you would like to look at the full list of rankings for yourself, please visit r3.ldp.life and go to the Media Delta List tab. If you would like to watch Media Delta's sister show, Retro Rank Rhapsody, you can either watch at youtube.ldp.life or by tuning into twitch.tv/LoadedPuzzlo at 7:30 p.m. on Fridays, 2:30 p.m. on Saturdays, and 1 p.m. on Sundays. All those times are from the Eastern U.S. time zone. If you would like to discuss this episode with the community, you can do so by joining our Discord server, which you can do so by going to discord.ldp.life. Thank you again for listening, and I hope you tune in for our next episode.